It's a great day to be a Rotarian. Yes. We've got a lot of things to do today, a great agenda. We'll start off. Our resident, David Crabtree, will give us a blessing, and I'm sure it'll be heard.
Let's pray. Gracious Father, we come before you, and we thank you for another day to serve. I pray, Lord, you would help us to make the very best of it for someone else's benefit, and we'll give you glory in all that we do. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
And Rotary moment? Or no, of all the things we... I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Of the things we think, say, and do,
Is it true? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned?
Yes, we got it. Great. It's sure complicated thing. Rotary moment for me would be a year ago in South Africa, over there doing Hope Ride, and needed to get a makeup meeting in, so ended up at a little shopping plaza with a couple of people who ran businesses in the shopping plaza and another Rotarian with me. And I shared with them after we had our meeting and discussed what they were doing for Rotary. I said, I really needed this for a makeup. They said, well, so did we.
Well, you know, every president takes on certain risks. We've had presidents of the United States who have been impeached, and sometimes you go out on a limb and you do things in office you're not supposed to do. So, you all got the email the other day. Chris Justice said we're going to do the impossible, but it's not. I scratched that out. It's do the possible. I mean, there's nothing to stop us from 100% attendance the month of September. If you think about it, you got 2 weeks before and you got 2 weeks after a club meeting. That's a whole month to go to a club meeting. Matter of fact, we've made it easier than ever before. We got my cameraman over here today. The whole thing is online, on our website, on YouTube, so I don't care if you're sitting on the beach. There's no reason you can't somehow be at Gate City Rotary, or you do an E-Club 1 or go to one of the other clubs in the district. We tied for first place in the month of July, but there weren't but 3 meetings, but we had 91% attendance, and we tied for first in the district. So we've already been within 9 percentage points of 100%, but I know we can do this. And if you don't come, we know who you are. And you're going to get a call from me. When you're getting close, the attendance Nazi over here, Chris Justice, is going to let me know who you are, so you'll hear from me. But, you know, there's some saying that, you know, 90% of life or something is just showing up. So I know we can do it, and I hope I don't get impeached. Tom Richardson as our Sergeant at Arms.
It was packed this morning. Everybody, first morning signing people up, and it was crazy up there. So we have some guests. Danny Farley has a guest, Howard Triggers.
Howard's my new next door neighbor, so welcome him to the community. He's from Chesapeake, Virginia.
Dennis Marcotte has a guest, Rich DePoe.
This is Rich DeBolt. You got the email last night about he's a new chair at GTCC, and he'll be coordinating our scholarship awards this year.
And Jonathan Smith has a guest, Brian Kaiser.
Brian Kaiser, no stranger, but welcome in.
The visitors this morning from Summit, Deborah Friedman. Also from Summit, Neil Wilcox. From Michigan's traveling here from Howell Rotary, Kim Dane. And Jan Clifford's a guest from Washington. I want to everybody knows somebody dropped their tickets. We sold out of tickets this morning.
Sell those again.
Anybody wants to buy some more tickets?
Man, that's right.
There you go.
Take that, brother.
Thank you, Tom.
All right.
Announcements. Chip, you wanna, as you eat your bacon there, you wanna tell us about pig stock?
Oh yeah, I'm gonna make a big announcement. Is the microphone on?
Oh, yeah.
I bet it's not working.
Oh, I don't need to hurt you.
I probably don't. Oh, it is working. I don't need it. We have some good friends who might need it. Is that coming through?
Oh, yeah.
The year was 69, and the call went out low and long. We're going to gather out in the country at Maxie Asker's farm, about 500,000 strong. All right, does anybody remember that? All right, cool. That was one of those big things that sort of framed my youth. I was 14 at the time. Now it won't turn off. My iPad hadn't worked for 3 weeks. I got it going last night, and now it won't turn off. Oh, well, we'll let them run.
I can fix it.
There you go. I can too. Oh, I forgot one other thing. Excuse me.
There you go.
Yeah. You thought I had forgotten, didn't you? Yeah. But back then, my hair met in the middle, okay? It was about that long. And I had those blue jeans with the big bells and the buttons in the front. All right. November the 2nd, we're going to recreate it. We're shooting for about 500 people, not 500,000, out at Dan Quinn's farm, otherwise known as Jamesford Meadows. We're going to cook some pig. We're going to raise some money for the children of Vietnam. And above all, we're going to have a lot of fun. And did I mention beer? We're going to have a lot of beer. So while the fun and the beer and the peace and everything else is free, the pig's probably going to cost you a couple of bucks. But I need some team members. You can't cook pig for 500 people without a little bit of help. I'm good, but I ain't that good. So please, somebody join up on my team. I'll put sign-up sheets out, and we'll appreciate it. It's going to be a fun thing. I do have one team member so far, but Emily Hull jumped right on it. So we will have some more folks out there, so y'all please come out and help. Thank you, Bobby.
Great. I hope you don't get cold on the way to work.
It'll be cool, man. It'll be cool.
Danny, Dan, coming up, what do you have? Reminder of Big Sweep, is it September 21st?
Yeah, let me get the date. I'm sorry, I'm not prepared.
It's the 21st, September 21st, big
We're
sweep.
already prepared now.
But keep that on your calendars, it's coming quick next month. Any other announcements?
Yeah, I got the 545.
Wow.
You can do makeup anywhere. Sarah is going to be in Costa Rica, and you can do one in Costa Rica. On the river. But we're going to do the friendly sweep over here. I'm going to put out an email today. We're going to do Bravo, Fleming's, and PF Chang's. We're going to have 3 in September to accomplish our goal. And I'll let you know. Well, we're going to do it at 5:45, I think. Each night at each one of those restaurants, and I'll identify them. They have like $6 entrees or something. It's a small menu, but it's if you want to eat, you're going to have the opportunity to.
All right. Great. Thank you, Ralph. Any other announcements? Birthdays, anniversaries. Kevin.
Sure, we've got one birthday this week. On the 18th was Ralph Jones. Anniversaries, we've got a few. On the 18th was Emily and Peter Cooley. On the 20th was Tom and Sarah Sears. 47.
47. Wow. He was married on my birthday. I'm 47 years old.
No connection.
So that's it.
And the final one on the 24th is Steve and Tiana Withers.
And my favorite favorite part of the program. Buster.
Yes, yes.
Happy dollars.
Happy dollars. Yes, yes, I know we got a bunch of them. Look at that. Jim Kennedy.
Get Dale first.
None.
Okay, I've actually got two things, but I want to remind everyone that the walk for JDRF is coming up, and I plan on walking this year. Yes. And I've had three folks that have been very generous and have contributed for the cause. Bobby Christensen, Dennis Newman, and Jim Kennedy. And I'd like to have more names on my list. So please make a contribution for JDRF. It's a Juvenile Diabetes Research Foundation. They've made a lot of progress in trying to cure type 1 diabetes, especially for children. In the community, what they do is they set up these cells of people that come and help and support people when they find out they have a young child that has diabetes. It's a very traumatic time for them. There's a lot of change that takes place, and they assist them in that change. It's a great organization. And I don't know if any of you know that I rescued a Japanese chim a little over a year ago. Well, all 9 pounds of her jumps off the ground and gives me a high five when I come home.
Jim Kennedy.
Well, I was in St. Louis last week, did a makeup. Did a makeup at a club, Forest Park, Rotary, which brand new, was chartered in January this year. A very young group of young men. It was interesting to be by far and away the oldest person in the room. Also went to 2 Cardinals games. They won both of them, and they did ask me to stay to see if I could extend the streak.
Mr. Crabtree. Yeah, my daughter Lindsay spoke a few weeks ago, and all of her budget's been raised, and she leaves in 10 days.
That's awesome.
I want to say thanks to those of you who helped, and we appreciate that so much. And Sherry and I are really, really struggling with how we're going to adjust to the
You'll figure it out.
We'll figure it out.
They're never gone until they're on your cell phone plan.
So, a while back, Kevin gave his new member talk and offered us all coupons to the bread company to get stuff. So Teresa took advantage of that a little while back and comes home with a bunch of bread. And then last night, she knows I love breakfast for supper. So last night we had chocolate chip wheat pancakes. It was like brownie and bacon. It was just great, so thank you for that.
I'm back. I've been away for a couple of weeks, and when I was out at the beach, it's a beach where you collect a lot of shark's teeth, topsail, and there was major storms coming through. Lightning struck the house next door to us, knocked our cable out, which was good because the kids had to do something different. When the cable guy came, he was an avid shark tooth collector, and he brought a box in these megalodon teeth, and my kids went crazy. And then they handed him cash, and now we've got megalodon teeth.
So I have 2. One is Saturday. My son Nathan, we took him down to ECU, so he's a freshman at ECU this year, and the other is my daughter Kylie, who headed off to Queen's University in Charlotte on Sunday. So, you know, we're official empty nesters, except they are still on our cell phones.
Yes.
So,
It's a start.
Yeah. Sunday was our 23rd wedding anniversary, and so we got to celebrate my both two kids are off at college.
Wow.
Yeah.
Judge Hassel.
With help of some leadership from local Rotarians, the reality for the city of Greensboro is closer for a new downtown Greensboro performing arts center. So $60 million. This is a public-to-private partnership. It's really going to happen. It's very exciting.
Well, y'all know my love for kids, little people, and for dogs, and for reading. So I got to keep the 3-year-old while the 6-year-old and her parents went to her first kindergarten walkthrough. She came home that night. She said, "Peeps, you would not believe the most wonderful thing about the school. They have a library." Can you imagine being a 6-year-old going to school thinking they're going to have all this fun, but not knowing there was going to be a library, and then coming home and discovering there was a library.
Yeah. I remember they had blocks.
Well, Bobby, you and I had to write our own books when we went to school. We
walked both ways.
We walked both ways. Uphill.
Good news, our exchange student arrived Sunday night. So, usual stuff, she missed her connection in Philly, lost her baggage. But by the time it was midnight, she was there. Very nice girl from Germany.
Pretty
I
nice?
tried, yes,
Pretty nice.
I tried to take her this morning, but the first 2 days she didn't feel good. She had jet lag, so she woke up early, but she's quickly turning into a regular teenager. No way I can wake her up this morning.
I'll lend you our foghorn.
So my wife and I were up in the mountains this past weekend. We were having dinner, and we started this conversation with a couple from Columbia, South Carolina. And they have a hair salon business down there, and apparently quite successful. And so I said, geez, and so we were just talking about different subjects, and I have to bring up, last year we gave a scholarship to a Dina Parker, who her ambition was to open up hair salon places so she could train people so they could open up their own hair salon places. And so I connected the two this week because the couple in Columbia has an interest in developing something where there could be a school to teach people how to be hairdressers.
Wow.
Don't know if anything will happen, but I thought it was just a great coincidence. And we got GTCC here today, and so it's just kind of cool.
It is cool.
Well, here's $50 for my 50th birthday. So I leave Friday night last week. Had just left. A good friend of mine had passed away from ALS. It was a kind of a melancholy kind of day. We're driving down to the beach for the week. I'm thinking I'm going down there for a nice quiet weekend vacation, just, you know, with the family. We get down there. I kind of sensed my wife was kind of rushing in, and she's like, "You want me to drive? You drive it kind of slow." Like, no, wow, what's your 50 now? Yeah, I'm 50. So we get down there, we get to the house, we throw our stuff. She said, "Let's go down to we call this place the Tiki Hut, which is just a little bar restaurant on a sand dune down at Devido." She's like, "Come on, let's go on down." Like, what's the rush? Why do you get such a rush? We just got here. She's like, "Come on, let's get on down there." So we get on down there. I see my best friend, Bobby Hitchcock, sitting at the bar. I'm like, "Okay, what's up?" What are you doing here? He's like, "Come on over here." Next thing I know, 20 of my closest friends all come out from behind the bar, and they were all there, Ralph Jones and Wendy, and it was a moment to see all them and all their families, and they spent the whole week there with us. It was awesome.
That's great.
You know, Kelly, for $50, you can be the speaker.
Did Kelly say his closest friends and Ralph? Was that? I have two happy dollars. We have a really nice thank you note from Children of Vietnam, Ben Wilson. I would read it, but I cannot read a word the man writes. I know what he's saying, and he's saying that you guys in the district have funded water to a village that had no clean water. First it goes to the kindergarten. Children of Vietnam then found another NGO to come and support the pump and the well forever and ever. So it was really cool. Thank you very much. My other happy dollar is young Miss Catherine Quinn got her driver's license this week. When I took her to the DMV, the guy took her out and came back and told me, he said, "I can tell you've driven with her a great deal. She's one of the best drivers I've had in quite some time." And I thanked him, and Katie got a license. We walked out, and I said, "Who drove?"
What's she driving, Dan, so we can be on the lookout for her?
She's got a little Jetta wagon. It's gray and it's real stealthy, and best I can tell, it's moving quite rapidly.
Well, Grandpappy heard recently where this fellow in Colorado wants to have marijuana deemed a vegetable by the federal government. And Grandpappy said, you know, that is an ingenious way to get Americans to quit smoking pot.
Of course, we've got a fundraiser coming up shortly, and you know we do some great things, and probably one of the greatest things we do is what we do with those funds. And today we have one of our longtime benefactors, Jan Clifford from Horsepower. She's going to give us kind of an update of what's going on over there, and then we'll have something special for her at the end of that update.
I forgot how much fun you guys were. This is almost worth getting up at 5:34. I appreciate the opportunity to come and give everybody an update. Bonnie was at the farm the other day doing some work for us, and I was telling her what's going on. She said, you need to come to the Rotary Club and tell everybody what's going on. So, for those of you who don't know the history of Horsepower, we started in '95. We do horseback riding for people with disabilities. And we built a facility at the Piedmont Saddle Club, and then after we had everything completed exactly how we wanted, they decided they wanted to kick us out. Well, we signed a 20-year lease with the help of Brooks Pierce donating all their legal work, and Rob Wells with Gabriel Berry, Weston and Wells. We didn't have to put a penny in for a legal fund, which was what was breaking my heart, that, you know, people that were donating and supporting us, helping our kids, that we would have to use money for that. So we are good, and, you know, the old expression of nothing happens for a reason. I was always looking for why this was happening. It didn't make any sense. I couldn't explain to people why they were doing it. None of it made any sense to me. Well, in our search, in case the worst case scenario we had to move, we found a partner, the Phoenix Academy, which is a charter school in High Point, that wants to have an equestrian program for their school. And as we were looking for land, they said, you know, we're looking at buying this 49 acres down here in High Point, just a few miles down from where you are now, and we were going to buy that and build a barn, but we really don't know anything about horses or the program or anything, so why don't we let you get that? We'll contract with you, pay you enough that you can pay for the land, and then you can start a program for us, and then you can have a new place. So we are going to be purchasing 49 acres off of Kleiner Farm Road called the North Carolina Ability Center. And that's where Horsepower will expand so that we can offer more services than what we do now. We have a veterans program that we just started for wounded warriors. So we will have, beside our therapeutic riding and our equine assisted, we'll have a veterans program, a literacy program, agrotherapy. So we are going to be expanding and not only having our current location as the location, and we also just started to work with the cadets at the Oak Ridge Military Academy. We'll be able to expand to offer more services. So we are looking for partners that maybe want to have a relationship, use our facility. And that's one of the things that I always thought that our land, there's so much that can be done more. I don't know that there's one child that wouldn't benefit from being outdoors and walking on a trail, understanding how the animals think, how they act, the growing of crops. I don't know of anybody who wouldn't get a benefit of that. So we are looking at how we can expand to be more in the community.
I knew something was weird.
Whoops, can you hear me?
Yes.
You can, okay. Jim, why don't you talk a little bit about Tony and some of the things that she's done for?
Well, Stu and I have known Tony for years, it seems, a long time, right, Tony?
20 plus.
And like ourselves, she's a dog lover. We sometimes go over and look after Sadie, her silky terrier. And she's a great person, wants to get involved in the community, and has really enjoyed her numerous makeups or her numerous visits to the club. And last but not least, she's a great go-kart driver. So, as some of you may have learned, I have learned that on a number of occasions, much to my dismay. So, I'd like to welcome Tony to our group.
Great. On behalf of the Board of Directors and our members, we sincerely welcome you here. Our welcome is not only in anticipation of good fellowship we share with you here on Thursday mornings and during social outings. We welcome you for your strong arms and sturdy back, which will help us carry out many service projects in small yet significant way. Make our community, our country, and our world a better place for all to live. For all here, Rotarian and non-Rotarian alike, let us be reminded of these important facts. Rotary is not a political organization, but all Rotarians are vitally concerned with everything pertaining to good citizenship and the election of good men and women to public office. Rotary is not a charitable organization, yet its activities exemplify the clarity and its sacrifices that one should expect from people who believe that they have a responsibility to help others. Rotary is not a religious organization, but it is built on those eternal principles that have served as the moral compass for people throughout the ages, as well as the foundation of our great country. Rotary is an organization of business and professional people pledged to upholding the highest professional standards. Rotarians believe that worldwide fellowship and international peace can be achieved when business people unite under the banner of service. I would like everyone to stand, please, so that you're going to be in charge. You, Tony, have been chosen for membership of the Gate City Rotary Club. Your sponsor and fellow members believe you are a leader in your special line of work, and that you embody the qualities of head and heart that fit you to interpret and impact the message of Rotary. You are the representative of your vocation in this club. At the same time, you now become an ambassador of Rotary. You rely on you to carry the principles and ideals of service to those with whom you work. Additionally, we expect you to help to inspire us, your fellow members, to become better Rotarians. I now ask Jim to present with the distinguishing label of Rotarian. It is our hope you will wear it proudly for others to see. As the struggle continues.
There we go.
All right.
Also included is your official certificate of membership in Rotary and a declaration of the four-way test to help you be reminded of what it means to be a Rotarian. Photo. Okay. Wait a minute. Here we go. You do have a photo now, don't we? Allow me to right hand of friendship from be the first one to congratulate you as a Rotarian. Fellow members and guests, I have the honor of presenting Tony Rollins to you as our newest member. Please.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here and look forward to getting to meet and know all of you a bit more, so thank you.
Thank you. Welcome. We're not done with you yet, Dennis.
Yeah, I
know. Dennis is the program today, so I'll turn it over to Dennis.
So Emily asked me to talk for, initially it was 10 minutes. Got to 30 minutes. But my clock says I'm almost back down to 10. So, so I thought I'd make this stretch out. All right, so this is membership month, and there's a few things that I just wanted to go over with you. Just kind of, first of all, just go through the steps of what it takes to look for a member, and how you present a member, and I am going to pass this out. I didn't make a copy for everybody, because it's just illustrations, so if you can kind of look on together. There's two.
I read these.
That's it. What's the sleeping?
All right, so if you're interested in presenting somebody to the club, you need to contact the classification coordinator, which is me. And we want to get the classification issues squared away before we even think of bringing anybody in. Invite your guest to attend 2 or 3 Rotary sessions. What we're doing today, we have Mr. Kaiser here, and he's been here a couple times at least. And after the meeting today, we're going to sit down with him and go over what the expectations are. So the plan would be, if you're going to bring him here 3 times, the 3rd time, we would meet him after person after the meeting and get that session taken care of so we can move the process along quite a bit faster, because getting everybody back together always seems to be pretty hard. It's also recommended that we have conversations about the general responsibilities, the financial support needs. If you need a copy of this, I can email it to you, but you want to be talking to them about what some level of expectations they're going to have in joining Rotary. Obtain an application, and that application comes from the secretary. You get that application, then send it back through. The board of directors will then vote on it. Upon approval, the application will be emailed to the club members for consideration. And then we go into the new red badge and introduction as we did today. But some of the things that we definitely want to talk about is the Paul Harris Fellowship, the commitment there. We want to make sure they understand that there's the foundation contribution of $100. And all this is paid in installments, so we also need to, if you need clarity on that, just call us. There's the quarterly dues. I think it's averaging about $219, I think, which includes the foundation piece. And attending, and of course, our fundraiser. And then just the general service things that we do that can change from year to year. But make sure that the strong arm thing, make sure they're willing to do that, because that's just as equally important. And then we have the other 545 events, makeup, Happy Dollars. There's a Buster card still. Thank Buster, you still got that card? I don't know. But just let those people know what's kind of the expectation. Also want to talk about a little bit about the transition from red badge to blue badge. If you're going to sponsor somebody, there's going to be included in their packet this form here. And we're going to have the sponsor be directly responsible for making sure this gets done. We want the connection to be made and the connection to be executed correctly. So there's several steps. There's review of club committees, board meeting attendance, attend a board meeting, join a committee, and some of this is going to happen all very quickly anyhow, so some of this gets done almost instantly. But just doing like a makeup, make sure they log their information on the database. So if you got any questions about either of these steps, just let me know. The application itself is pretty self-explanatory. so you can see it on the table. So I want to make sure I get into something else here. I wanted to just talk a little bit about what we would consider some of the things that we're going to do and like to do. And then I'd like to get some feedback from you all as to what you think some additional things that we could do to improve the membership and what we can do as a club, I guess. Now, I did send out a survey late yesterday afternoon. So if you all can get that back to me, so we can be very interested in the comment section. We got some feedback already, which is really positive. The couple things that we're going to try to do, and we haven't discussed this as a committee, but we're going to shortly. When we get a new member in here, we're going to have, the committee people are going to make sure they have contact with that new member on a one-on-one basis in some shape or form. Either call them up and invite them to lunch, or call them up and say, I'd like to sit with you on Thursday. The idea is that when someone comes in, you know, they sit at a table, and we all do this. We sit at a table and we get to sit with, it seems like we sit with the same people all the time. And that's okay. But I think a new member kind of gets lost in the shuffle a little bit. So I'm going to want to encourage even members to take the initiative to reach out to the individual and say, you know, welcome to the club, make them feel more welcome. And so part of that whole thing, and if the sponsor has difficulty, you know, hooking up somebody with somebody, or they need to do a makeup, calling on somebody else to do it, and call somebody from the committee here, that would be your first call, I would think. And then if one of us can't do it, then most certainly we can reach out to somebody else. And I guess the other thing, we talk about recruiting new members. It dawned on me this morning that when we're talking about recruiting new members for we always think of our club. We have 67 members, and we've got now 68. So as far as our goal for the year, we've already exceeded our goal. Of course, we assume that's going to stay intact. But I think we need to look at not just Rotary from the standpoint of this club, who could potentially be a good Rotarian? Because we can most certainly direct them to other clubs if we feel like that we're full at this point in time. Or maybe this club doesn't work out. But if you think a member or a potential member could be an excellent candidate, but the time frames, I mean, this 8 o'clock, 7 o'clock meeting doesn't work, let's still get them in the loop. So my question to the group today is, and I'd like to have each table do about a 2-minute discussion on this, and then I'll come back to you. What are some of the characteristics that we need to look for in a person that would be considered a good Rotarian? So someone would just draw, you know, a couple notes, and then we'll just go from table to table and see how many characteristics we got, so everyone can get an idea of what we're looking for. Okay, go ahead and do that.
This list could be published. Well, you wouldn't, I mean, I go back to service every time we look at this. When I got Ralph Jones, I'll offer up proof. I didn't have the pocketbook, I had the back. And I think, you know, as we go through the last few years trying to get people in this service arena, I think the first year they ought to do every service project. The first year, everyone.
But you don't have to go on the come and pass out one. What you're saying, using specific examples, is you're looking for somebody who do things, initiative, motivation.
Yeah, you got those two things. Well, here's the thing, guys. I mean, we commit to the project every year. I mean, your bills. We commit to Salvation Army bringing up the mountain. Look at the challenge this been last week, just to get both of those going. And we had 67 other kids.
know, it should be a question. You do it or you don't join. I mean, everybody can, I can write a check, but when we have these projects, they have to be done or our credibility is tarnished. You know?
The few people that do that regularly.
Put them in
I'm probably not the most tactful person. The bell curve of life, 80-20 rule. Exactly. 20% of the people do 80% of the work. I don't care what it is. But so we're saying when we're vetting these people, we really, it's not just showing up on Thursday. Really something else. That's all you're going to get.
And so this way, you don't have to have solid.
Had to be two. That's where they connect. Not now on Thursday. You don't connect. You can, it's a service or taking the job in front of you. That's the way. You don't do one of the other. On a roof for somebody, or pushing concrete, or whatever it is.
Bringing on?
Bringing on. Well, you know, that's a good point, Mike. I don't, you know, being the laborer in my brain, I don't see it. I think that's a pretty good thing. When you're over here slitting bullets with the person that proves they decide you to start having conversation, you know, that's it, you've done the lunch. Maybe that's a better way to approach that. But I think the first year, they should be.
All right, if we're on,
Before they
everybody's ready?
That's my opinion.
Let's go ahead and just kind of.
Let's let Dan first. Hang on. You're
All right, let's just go from table to table. Just one idea that you guys have come up with, and if we got duplications, that's okay. So let's start right here and go
Well,
back.
our guest from GTCC has outside of it. He says, look for people who are already volunteering, who are already embodying, you know, the tenets of Rotary.
Okay.
Chris's table.
Duplicated. Look for people who are already engaged in other activities.
Or people who are interested in getting engaged, want to be engaged more.
What I'd say, there's some saying, if you want the job done, give it to the busiest guy in the room.
Yeah. Next table.
Someone who's interested in serving, whatever the avenue is, but someone, the mirror side of that would be a good ambassador for what we as Rotarians are about.
Great point.
Look for professional diversity, people from different backgrounds.
You stole my point. That's okay. Buster?
Ours was someone who wanted to be involved and wanted to serve, and someone who was interested in the fellowship aspect of the club too, and not so much the networking, but the fellowship and the service.
Right. Next table.
Well, we talked about a couple of things. We kind of took a little different approach to that because I think a lot of what has already been said, we said. But we certainly don't want to come across as a club who is a snobby Rotary club, but we do think we ought to be really selective because we only have so many slots to fill. And we talked a little bit about that and how our lunch with that potential member that we've always called the try to get them to decommit lunch needs to continue, and it really needs to be that moment where we say, you know, we do this and we do this and we do this, and if you're really not comfortable with that, you know, this club isn't for you. And that has been our strength through the years. Is we are a sweat equity club,
right? Yep.
And when you join, you get involved, and you know, or you're not here long. And we've seen that happen, but I think we need to keep that forcefulness in our approach to whoever we're talking to. It's we don't want you to join Rotary. We want you to join our Rotary Club and be really involved.
Great. Last table.
Same thing. We serious vetting of new members that they're committed to Gate City's level of service.
Okay. And I think that's great because I think just saying it is always good. And the diversity issue is one subject I was just going to finish up with. Because it's diversity, it's not, you know, it's male, female, but it's also diversity of industry. And I think that's one of the things that we definitely need to focus in on as a membership organization at this club. And I've seen more new members come in with different types of industries, and I think that's great. Because I think the diversity of companies and what they do and what we do just kind of makes us all more well-rounded. Just provides us more opportunity. So I think this club is, I joined it, and in all honesty, and this is why I'm putting so much emphasis on making sure we get the new person up and running and engaged. Because I was a prior Rotarian, I think a lot of things are taken for granted, and I signed up for committees but never asked to do anything. So my committee, I got people on there, and I already alerted them yesterday that they will be doing some stuff. So I would encourage each committee to make sure they have engaged their committee members to make sure they're staying active.
Dennis, there's one thing, if I may interject here, one important key thing that came up,
okay.
You know, with one of the things, you know, when we sit in here every morning, or, you know, we sit at a Friday at 5 and there's, or I mean a 5:45 and there's 5 or 6. The one thing about, you know, as you've heard me hammer the service projects for obvious reasons, but Mike made a very, very valid point. There's one thing we don't get to learn or really know each other sitting here because you're at that table and I'm over here. You know, when you're out there sweating on a job and you're over here hammering shingles or digging a ditch, you know, we're all working together. That's when you really get a chance to really interact with each other and really meet each other and know who we are, you know.
Good point. I'm done. It's 8 o'clock.
Dennis, that's great. Thank you.
Oh, yeah.
You're not done yet. You're not done.
A great example
Do
of
you
that,
want one of these
Rachel and I
tickets?
really bonded that day that big rat turd fell out of the
Yes.
There's no place like under a ceiling full of
We're firm believers that's raccoon turd.
You're around much taller people.
The potential winner
To
is
this day, I don't think it was a rat. It was
2-2-0. Don't worry about it, we don't have a deck of cards. It must be our.
Is that 2-0 last week?
Yes.
We'll find the deck.
We'll get the deck.
Huh?
You're on the chair.
Oh. Have a great day.